Hey everybody, welcome back to Nasty Nate's Garage. Um, on this video, we're going to be doing some repairs and some maintenance on the family lawnmower. It's a Toro recycler 22 inch with the, I forget what the CCs is on it. It's a 6 3/4 horsepower or something like that. It's got the Kohler engine on it, and all I've really done since we moved in here 8 years ago is sharpen the blade every season, which is also not enough. So we're going to be taking a look at that. I actually did sharpen at the beginning of the season, but I know I've hit some rocks and stuff, so we're going to go ahead and hit that again. So we're going to do the blade sharpening. We're also going to change the oil. We're going to swap out the spark plug. We're going to check that air cleaner, get that thing swapped out if it needs it. In addition to that, for years now, I've been noticing weird clumps as I mow of grass that gets left behind, and it's got a mulching blade on it, so it shouldn't be leaving these clumps. I always thought it was the blade. I've replaced the blade, and it's still doing it. And just recently, I noticed the shroud that's underneath. That it on the back side where the flap comes down to stop debris and stuff from getting shot out. There's a chunk of it missing, like where the bagger chute is. So I don't know if when that grass is getting thrown around, it's just getting caught and clumping, which is, I don't know. Grass met straws, but there's a chunk of it missing, a big chunk that's been busted out, and I didn't even notice it until the flap. The flap, since my wife and I, sold our houses and cohabitated before we got married. The flap on the back always had a little stripe on it where the blade had hit it and kind of busted it out in the middle. Well, just recently, the second mow this season, the blade caught it again, and this time it's gone. So that's when I realized that there was more damage there. There was actual damage there that I hadn't noticed before, and it was not new damage because there's, how that grass stainy crap kind of builds up on things. I mean, it's all built up in there, so it's obviously not something new. I never caught it before, but I wasn't really looking for it either. So prior to us cohabitating, obviously something happened to it at our old house at some point in time. So we're going to be swapping that thing out in addition to the maintenance items that I talked about earlier. So let me go get the lawnmower out of the shed. I'll get the garage set up for doing the work, and we'll get you guys back up here. All right, before I throw this thing on the side, here is that part I was talking about. So this kind of sits underneath here, and it also has the flap, in the back. And I was noticing that somehow when somebody was mowing, this flap would go under, which isn't uncommon, but it was hitting the blade, and there was a big rip in here. And eventually, the blade wiped it out and ripped the whole thing off. So we're going to start there. We're going to go ahead and tip this thing on its side here in a minute, and we're going to figure out how to remove this piece from the inside and put this new one in. Alright, so we got her on its side. As you can see, there's a big chunk of this structure missing out of here. Right in here. In fact, this side's not even attached to that side anymore. It's just gone. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and pull this out. I'm a little nervous how this is going to work because it's actually tied to the structure that holds the handle on. So I might have to pull these wheels off, unfortunately, which I was hoping to kind of avoid, but it's looking a little unavoidable at this point. So we're going to start there. I'm going to try and get this piece out first. And then I don't know, I may have to just drain the oil and figured the other half out, flip the other way. But we're going to go ahead and start on this side because it's just this little piece that's left. And we'll bust it out and get going. Yeah, the nut just got destroyed because it's not really supposed to be exposed to all the elements, and it was, and it's just roached. I'm going to have to replace that. What the hell is holding this on? Oh. Alright, so we got this half off. Alright, on to the next side. Hey, do you guys see my wrench? Found it. And there's the other half. I'm kind of smart taking video of this now when I don't remember how this all goes back together. I got it on video. I can just play it backwards. Oof, to me. Actually, we're going to clean this up a little bit before we put this in. It is gross. Alright, we're back. We got updates. While I was in the house, I kind of forgot how some of this goes back together. So I Actually, beautiful part of doing this is I was able to go back and look at my own video and go, oh, okay. And then I actually discovered a little bit better way to do this. So I'm going to actually take this off of the handle and just put these on and then put the handle on. I don't know why I didn't see that sooner, but so yeah, we're going to keep plugging away here. You're going to be stuck looking at my butt for a while. Sorry. One little fun thing I run into is there's physically no way for me to get my hand in here and hold this nut. So I'm grasping at straws here at this point. This is my best idea I've had, so, or the best idea I could come up with. Hopefully it works. This is a pain in the royal ass. You can't get your hands in here to hold the nut to get the bolt started. And there's these little collars that go inside this plastic bucket in here that you can't get your hand in there to put in. If I had known that, I didn't see that that was there when it came apart, so I probably would have put a little dab of super glue on those or something to at least get them to stay, so I didn't have to keep feeding it in with my little hooks and then holding it with a screwdriver and then trying to get the bolt in, all while trying to keep. I ended up running a self-tapper in on the other side just to hold this in place because it kept falling off. I am just not having a good time with this one, but we're not going to let the terrorists win. We're going to keep going. pain in the ass. That was the biggest pain in the ass I think I've ever done. You need a third hand, you need a child's hand. I should have woke my daughter up, but you need to have hands like a baby to get in there, or you gotta jimmy rig things up in order to make it work, like masking tape and a wrench, and pray to God you're not cross-thread things. I did cross-thread one bolt that I had to throw in the garbage. Thankfully, I had one spare bolt nut, and since I didn't have a nylock nut, I had to use a lock washer. But it's back together, other than the handle. I'm going to call it a night here. Pretty frustrated, and I just want to take a shower. I'd have a beer, but my cousins drank all mine when they were here the other night. So that'll be a wrap. We'll pick this up again probably tomorrow. Enjoy. Have a good night. All right. Good morning. So we're back. I'm on dad duty this morning, so say hi to Winnie. Say hi, Winnie. And about to run out and grab some oil for this thing. For the life of me, I swear there was an oil drain plug on this thing, but I can't find it to save my life. So I think I'm gonna double check the interwebs and make sure I'm not missing it. But if not, I'm gonna have to tilt this thing on its side and drain it out of the fill hole. I don't see what else to do. So I'll go ahead and check that out for you guys, and we'll see what we find. All right, so we're back. I did do a little investigating on this and confirm that there is no drain plug, which bothers me a little bit because I swear to God I've changed the oil on this thing before from the bottom, but I must be getting it confused with my old mower at my old house. So what I did find was that it is recommended that you tip the mower on the side and drain it out the fill hole. So that's what we're going to work on doing right now. Is we're going to go ahead and drain the old oil out of here. Shouldn't take too long. It's only, I believe, 6/10 of a quart. I'll have to double check that too, but if I believe that's what I saw. And then I did go ahead and order a new air filter for this. I got a new spark plug on the way, and apparently this thing has a fuel filter somewhere. I didn't know that. It came in a kit with everything. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and drain this oil and get that taken care of today. Knowing that this is 11 years old, and now knowing that the oil has likely never been changed, and I will probably be either changing it again at the end of the season or first thing in the spring. Because I did have this thing all tipped up weird and had some weird angles, I know for a fact just trying to turn the engine over with the blade, pretty sure I got quite a bit of oil up in the cylinder because it felt a little hydro locked when I was trying to turn it at one point in time when I had it face up to get the, I'll have to get the name of that thing I just replaced, I forget what it's called, but essentially the guard, flap and the guard, everything inside and underneath. I had to contort this thing in some weird ways and said a lot of nice words that would make a grandma blush last night, and it was not a fun project at all. But it's done. Toro, I don't have a toddler hand. Why? All right, I got that out of my system. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and drain this oil. I've got some fresh 10W30 I just picked up at Napa we're gonna throw in here, and we'll go from there. Now we gotta go ahead and top her off, and I got the oil out in the truck. I gotta go get it. Hey everybody, so we're back. I got the oil out of the truck, going with some 10W30. I did confirm it does take 6/10 of a quart. I was trying to figure out how am I going to measure that. Well, this is how. I'm going to go ahead and use a baby bottle. Don't tell my wife, thank you. It technically stops at 9, but I think it goes to 10. But I'm just going to do, so 6/10 of a quart is 19.2 ounces. So I'm just going to do 18 to start, check it, and then, go from there, essentially. So we'll go ahead and get started. I don't feel too bad using the baby bottle. We have so many of them that I don't think we're going to miss one. And if I'm changing oil on a car, I generally don't mind if there's a speck of oil or two in the funnel, or a speck of dust, or some stuff in the funnel, because the oil filter will catch it, whereas this doesn't have one. So I'm trying to get this thing as clean as I can. Oh, whoa. Oh, that sucks. I spilled a bunch of it already. Perfect. So one trick is to pour it a little slower, because it didn't really fill up as fast as I was hoping it would. So it came shooting out. So we're going to go ahead and go a little slower with this one. We were already going to be short. We'll just see how short we are at this point after I get the rest of this in there. I wonder if that's the problem. Oh. You cannot go fast at all. Not even a little bit. Just don't more. It doesn't go in the crankcase fast enough for whatever reason. Alright. It needs a little bit, not much. Just a scoosh. That should do her. Let's see here. Yep, and now we are perfectly full. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's dripping off of there, but alright. Oil change is done. So now we're just waiting for the rest of the parts to show up. Let's pull that old spark plug out now. Let's just take a gander at it and see. Yeah, let's pull this plug wire. Let's pull this spark plug out and let's see what we're looking at here. Also, I want to pop the engine cover off too and just see if this truly does have a fuel filter, because this little kit I bought came with one. I thought it was kind of odd. I've never seen a lawnmower with a fuel filter before. But we'll pop this bad boy off. We'll check that out too. Just get the recoil. Fuel filter on here. So it seems kind of weird, right? Why would they sell me a fuel filter if I don't need one? I don't know. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to put one on, but I don't really see a good place to do it, really. Also going to drop a little seafoam in here too. For no real good reason other than I want to. Just gonna splash in a capful, really, and maybe a little more. Yeah. That was plenty. Way too much, but it'll be fine. Before I mow next, I'll top the tank off as well, because that was a little much to put in there. It was probably about an ounce, and you want to use a ounce or two per gallon of the sea foam, and this doesn't hold a gallon, so not even close. We're gonna pull that spark plug and take a look at that. Ooh. Now I'll get you guys in here and take a look at this in a second. Yeah, and as predicted, yeah, that air filter was clogged damn near tight, so this thing was running richer than Jeff Bezos, you know, with his big penis rockets. So yeah, I'm glad we're replacing that. While I have the spark plug out, I'm actually going to turn the motor over a couple times, because I do know that I had the cylinder flooded with oil when I was contorting it around. So I'm going to do that real quick. I don't know what's going to happen, but either you're going to have a bunch of stuff come out or nothing at all. But yeah, that spark plug is definitely time to be replaced. This thing, I was trying to talk my wife into buying a new lawnmower, and then she kind of agreed to it, so I should have just took that and ran, but I decided to maybe just take on the challenge of getting this thing back to where it's supposed to be for a little bit. Ooh, jeez. Oh yeah, definitely push some stuff out. Good. That was definitely worth doing. Looks like mostly fuel that came out of here, actually. So I don't know, there was some oil too. I guess as there should be, to a certain extent. Alright, well, that's going to do it for now until I get the new plug and filter here. I'm debating on, it wouldn't be that hard to add that filter in, depending upon how big it actually is. I mean, if it's too big, I don't know if it'll work, but I might be able to put it on here, but oh man, I'll have to drain the tank first. So I might hold off on that until I'm out of gas. But yeah, we'll check back when we get that stuff here, and then we'll do final reassembly and see how it goes. Hopefully get this thing put together pretty quick, because I do have to mow here in the next couple days. So, and those parts are supposed to be here tomorrow, so we'll reconvene then. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm going ahead and throwing the new spark plug in right now. Those came in today. Also got the air cleaner. Came with a new cover. I'm not going to use it. It seems goofy, but looks like the filter should fit. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and spark plug is done. Plug wire is on. And the new filter's here, and basically the filter goes in there, and then these are the bottoms, and they just kind of pivot right here, and it goes up and locks into place. Pretty simple. That's on. Go ahead and throw the old recoil back on here. Alright, sorry about that. My youngest and only monster decided to tear into a big bag of M&Ms and made a mess, so, and they were my M&Ms. And I left them out, so I had to clean them up, which is only fair. So anyway, as I was saying, alright, so we got the recoil going back on here, we got the air cleaner in, we got the new plug in. So yeah, we're just cruising on putting this thing back together now. I am going to pull this thing outside and do a quick test fire, but ultimately, I'm going to, maybe I should just do it first. I'm going to pull the blade off of here and take a look at it and decide if I want to take a whirl and sharpen it at myself, because that's usually kind of iffier if I want to bring it in and let the pros do it. You know what, I'll do it myself, or attempt to do it myself. It's usually kind of 50-50. They either turn out really good or I screw it up to the point where I have to bring it in. So we'll see what happens here. But I'll also show you some interesting tricks that my grandpa taught me, because he used to always sharpen his own blade. In fact, the bench grinder I have here is my late grandpa's. So little nod to Frankie. Not that Frank, the other Frank. Both my grandpas were named Frank. Recoil's on. You know, let's just pull the blade down. And we'll keep going also with the Makita 1/4" impact. I've actually been pretty happy with this. You know, out of all the Chinese power tools I've gotten so far, I know this is not the right subject, but you know, I'll probably splice it in the other video too, but the 1/4" impacts have all been pretty kick-ass. Like, they've been really good. The drills are hit or miss, and I haven't had a chance to try the 1/2" impact on this yet, and these are all episodes that are upcoming, so sorry for the sneak peek. Yeah, and like I said, the 1/2" on the DeWalt was okay. I mean, again, I think I gave it a B+. So I did actually sharpen this myself last time, and it's it only has, I think, about 3 mows on it, but it is already dull as shit. So I mean, I guess it's not definitely not as sharp as it was when I did it last, but I'll get the camera turned around so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here and show you another little trick or two to the trade as well. Alright, so we got the blade off here, and it's not terrible. I mean, there's some, I don't know if you guys can, yeah, there you can a little bit. There's a few nicks and stuff in here. This side's marginally a little bit better, but yeah, this side has a few. Nothing too crazy. So I got the bench grinder there, but a little trick that my grandpa showed me years ago. You know, these are essentially the flywheel in addition to being your blade to cut the grass. So you want to have this as balanced as you possibly can. And the little trick my grandpa showed me years ago was he just had a, in his case it was a nail, I got a screw here. And this will basically tell you where you need to take a little more material off. That's pretty good. I'm actually kind of impressed that it's that good. So I obviously need to take a little bit more material potentially off of the left side, but not much. And I did good with that. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and fire up the old bench grinder here and try and put an edge on this thing. There you have it. It actually turned out pretty decent. I'm pretty happy with the edge I got on that. And as you can see, pretty damn well good and balanced there. So just going to clean that thing up a little bit with the wire wheel. These skits on that grass that's kind of stuck on there off. And then we'll slap her back on and get the handle on and we're ready to rock and roll. Final result, it's got a nice... My grandpa would always take a piece of newspaper just to check on, see how tight it or sharp it was. I don't have a newspaper because we don't subscribe to one anymore. You know, well, I think we did very briefly once, but let's go and throw this back on, and yeah, we'll get the handle on. We'll fire this thing up and see what we got. I'm excited. Like this, I was talking with my wife about this yesterday, and I'm like, didn't I change the oil on this thing when we first moved in? She goes, yeah, I thought you did. And I'm like, I thought I did too, but last oil I changed on a lawnmower, it had a drain plug underneath, so it must have been a Briggs, which would have been my old one. So, yeah, this thing's 11 years old, never had an oil change, never apparently had the air filter checked. I never even thought to look at that for God knows whatever reason. So yeah, that air filter was bad. Like, I actually have cleaned it up a little bit. I don't remember if I showed you guys this or not. And I've cleaned it up, and that's still what it looks like. The brand of spark plug I got from the Rainforest website, never even heard of it. This isn't a high performance vehicle though, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume it's probably okay. So yeah, we'll go ahead and throw this on and get the handle on, get her on the ground, and fire her up. Alright, so we're back on the ground. I did just top it off with some fresh gas here. You know, put that seafoam in there. Only had about a half a tank, and I probably put a little too much seafoam in there, so I want to make sure it was at least diluted a little bit. So usually it's a one-pull start. Since we've had this thing contorted in about 87 different directions, I don't know if it's going to go on the first time. But we'll give her hell here, see what we get. Well, that was a lot better. Every time I'd start it before, I mean, I knew it was probably a smidge rich, but probably a little bit more than a smidge when it blows a puff of black smoke out every time. I honestly thought it was just, I thought maybe it was just a little blow-by from the rings or something, and I was getting some oil in the cylinders, but nope, it was just running pretty fat. So, yeah, I think we got this thing all taken care of now. It's, man, that thing sounds good. Man, yeah, even the fuel smells better. Yeah, I think it's going to be a much happier machine now. So, if it ever stops raining here in monsoon soda, it's been terrible. Yeah, well, it's tomorrow being my normal mow day, and we're getting close to needing it. Shockingly, with the amount of rain we've had, I'm surprised the grass isn't up to my knee. But yeah, tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll get this thing out there. We'll run her through her paces and check it out. All right, well, that's gonna do it. Yeah, I was shocked that it fired on the first pull. And truth be told, last 3-4 years, every time I go to start it, it would let out a big puff of black smoke. And being at its age, and you know, this is my first Kohler. I've only ever had Briggs & Stratton, and you can't get a good Briggs & Stratton anymore. They're all garbage right out of the box. So when I would pull the handle and it would fire right up the first time, but let out a big puff of black smoke, I thought it was blow-by. I thought there was oil in the combustion chamber and it was just burning that up. Turns out, it just couldn't breathe. It was fatter than Pavarotti. But got that solved, and it fired up first pull, which I was really surprised considering the way I had that thing contorted on these tables here. And oh, speaking of which, I have a mess. Oofta. But yeah, now that I know what I know, definitely going to start keeping an eye on some of these things a little bit more. So yeah, that'll do it for this video. If you like this video, give it, if you liked what you saw, give it a like. And if you like seeing this type of content, you want to see more of it, hit that subscribe button. You never know when you're going to be bored somewhere and you're going to go, hey, what the hell's that nasty Nate guy up to these days? We don't know. You won't know unless you subscribe. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're feeling like it and you want to see more of this content. I'd appreciate it, and that'll do it. Have a good one.